welcome to Sugar Melts. How's everybody doing today? I've got some really fun projects I've been looking forward to putting together for you. Right now, my craft room is a disaster area. It looks like a natural disaster hit it because I have been putting so many of these projects together and having such fun this week. Do you remember a couple weeks ago when we made these gift bags with the handles and we used a couple of sheets of DSP for that? Well, check this out. Isn't that even prettier? Oh my gosh, I'm so happy with this. So all I did to kind of make this bag a little better, first thing, the handles. Oh my gosh, we always struggle, right, to make sure the handles are the same length. Well, how silly. Instead of using two pieces of string and trying to make the knots match and the holes match, I just used one piece of string and tied it through the middle in here. So then we just pull this out of the way when we put the gift in, and then we can pull it at the end. And so much easier to make them the same length with one piece of string. The second thing I did, and I know it's kind of bright here with the sun coming in the afternoon, but do you see this little trim that I put on here? Can you see that? Oh, love, love, love it. That is from a die. Where did it go? I just had it in front of me. There we go. Do you remember several years ago in the catalog, I think it's retired now, but the So Detailed Thinlits dies. Remember this set? I pulled this one out, and I honestly thought I would use this a lot more than I did, but it's pretty delicate for a card, and it really dominates the card in that environment. But what a nice trim for the top of a gift bag. The other thing it's nice for is you can then, it's a lot easier to align your holes because whatever kind of space in the flower that you've punched the hole for the handle, you just match it up on the other side, how many spaces over. So much easier to make them equal. I also decorated it with some butterflies. I think everything is always better with butterflies. So in this case, what I did, I pulled out, let's see, so this butterfly, you may have, or any butterfly will do. It doesn't matter, any butterfly. This came from, let me see if I've got this set here in front of me. I think it was in this set here. The Springtime Impressions Thinlits dies. It was in the corner here. Maybe remember this butterfly? I like him because he's really pretty big. And so all I did was I cut out 3 butterflies. One is purple, and then white to match the doily. And then I always love a little sparkle, silver, gold, some kind of bling, copper, bronze, doesn't matter. And I put him on top. And I offset them just a touch, just a tiny little bit to make sure you could see all the colors. I glued them together with just regular art glue, and then I used glue dots to secure it to the bag. And then after it was all nice and dry, I folded the wings out so you can see there's this nice 3-dimensional texture now on the gift bag. I'm really happy with that. So I hope you like those 3 ideas for how to make the gift bags that much more special, easy, and personalized for your friends and loved ones. The other thing that I actually had somebody say, hey, when are you going to show us how to do those? The flowers. Oh my gosh, I love these flowers. Can you see all the spectacular detail in these flowers? They're just so lovely. Let me get this paper out of the way here. So how I make these are super fun to go on gift bags, gift boxes, all different styles. I take my leftover, let me see where my bucket went. You're gonna laugh. Every time anybody gives me anything that comes in a bucket or a vase, I'm so excited about what I'm gonna do with the vase and what it's gonna hold in my craft room. So in this vase, I keep all my scraps and I cut them down. For this project, you'll want strips that are between 6 inches and 8 inches. And I like them at about a 1/2 inch. I could go as low as a 1/4 inch, but then it gets a little more complicated to assemble. So I work mostly with 1/2 inch, but either way it's fine, whatever you have. And all we do to put these together, and for me, the messier and more hodgepodge it is, the better. So different designs, break them up, it's all good. So we're gonna make a red one here today. I just put a little glue on the end of that strip and I fold it over. And there's lots of different patterns out there for how to make different kinds of flowers. This one to me is just the easiest. And then I go inside, put another dot of glue right there on the seam, and I fold it in half and just hold it for a second. And then I'll need one more for this project here. Okay, so we'll do one more here. I usually have about 4 strips of the larger one, so the 8-inch strips, and 4 of the 6-inch, which will make a 3-inch petal. But again, use your creativity and whatever works for you, whatever you have and what you want your flower to look like in the end. Put this here, another drop right in the middle, fold it down. Once that kind of secures itself, and when you go to assemble, be sure you're putting your seam side down so that the prettiest part of the flower is showing up. We don't want all the seams showing. So there's those 2, and you can see I've already got 2 that are put together. So then we're just going to glue these, and I find it easier if I put 2 together and then add 2 versus trying to put one on top of another on top of another. Then it just gets a little bulky for me, so I tend to do it this way. So I've got this basket here with all my unassembled parts. I'll just sit around and I'll make the little petals, and I won't always know where they're going to end up or on what flower, but I just have them sort of ready to go. So there's the base, and then we'll do 2 more small ones and assemble that part. And I'll show you how all this comes together. These are super fun for the outside of a simple bag, or a little box, or just even on top of a gift that may not even be wrapped. This can kind of serve as that adornment or embellishment for it. Just hold that down a second, and then we'll do like that. Just make it into that little circle. Hold it till it's kind of sort of dry. Put another drop of glue on that seam. Push it down. Hold that till it secures. Okay. And then again, we want our seam sides down. Sorry, my head's in the way there. Put that in the middle there. Okay. And then I've got this one that I already made. Make sure I got my seam side down. Put the glue there. Seam side down. And then I just push that right into the middle. Okay. And then I put a drop of glue into here. You can start to see how this is going to get a little bulky. I just push it down in. Isn't that pretty? It's all just coming together. From here, I've done different things with the flowers. At this point, so now we've got about, I think, 8 to 16 petals there. You could just put a flower in the middle. What I started with, I had found these flowers over at Michael's. And I really like them. They come in lots of different colors and styles and shapes and even different sizes in one package. And they were really pretty. And so I used them on several of these packages. Well, then when COVID hit and I wasn't going to the store very much, I thought, well, what else can I do? And I put a couple of them together. All I did was I put a brad through the middle, and they're really pretty just like this. But I couldn't go to the store. So what I did was I started making my own. So when we look at the base of this one, the underlayer, so it's kind of a black on ivory, a black on yellow, and then more of a charcoal on yellow. So I made these the other day. I just broke out a scrap sheet of paper and I broke out a bunch of stamp sets, and then I did the top layer, as you can see. I gotta tell you, I was really happy with the results. So this was the one from Michael's, and this was the one that I made. I was really happy with it. Some of the stamps that I used some of the stamps from Gallery Grunge. I find in these projects, it's funny, the stamps that I've never used a lot of really work well in this kind of a set, or this kind of a project. From Love What You Do, this shadow box here has never worked for me on a card. I could never get it to look like I thought it would, but in this kind of a project, it's great. And then I used the little script here from Very Versailles. And of course, Timeless Textures. I use lots of these different stamps in there. You're not going to capture the whole image generally by the time you break out a flower punch. And then of course, Gorgeous Grunge. So all I did after I sponged it and inked it and stamped all over it, I just broke out. I've got my daisy punch here that we're going to use next. And then this punch here from the 5 flowers a couple years ago. This has worked out really great for this project. And then the small blossom that came out last year in the catalog. I don't really love the stamp set with this so much, but I do love the punch. The punch has been great for me. So really happy with that project. Okay, so those are some of the flowers. Let me put those to the side here, and we'll finish up what we were working on. So this one's probably pretty good and dry now. So what I'm gonna do is I punched out with my daisy punch earlier a couple of different flowers. As I said earlier, I love the image just having a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of gold. So I put that on the bottom, and then I like a contrasting color in there. If it's straight red or straight purple, sometimes it kind of washes out. So I like a little contrast. So in this one, it's that blue pattern that came on the back. So I'll have that offset with this one on top. So we'll just go ahead and put a little bit of glue in the center. And I'm just gonna kind of offset it a little bit. So I don't want anything truly to dominate in this one. Just want everybody to get a little hint of that color in there. So this one will offset there. Okay, let that sit for a minute. I've already got this one put together that we can use. Once they're glued together, we can pretty well make them pretty pliable and bend them up a little bit, make them look a little softer. I just used a gold image like this one, and then several other pieces that I punched out, glued them together just like we're doing with these flowers. While that's drying, we can go ahead and do the smallest blossom. And again, I'm just doing everything I got here, but for your project, if you don't want this many layers, or if you want more layers, there's just no end to the creativity and the options with this project. I just think they end up so pretty. So then I just kind of glue that. I just want a hint of blue and just a hint of gold. And then I'll go ahead and I will glue this to the middle. You just see a little bit of gold and a little bit of that pretty bright blue in the background. Let that kind of sit. And then I'm just going to glue this right to the middle there. Let that sit for a minute. So then you'll notice in the middle of all of these that I put a gem. I have all my gems sitting around. I have silver, I've got pearl, I've got gold, I've got a bunch of copper brads. I like to just see where the project takes me. So that's part of the reason why my office looks like a hot mess today, because I've just got things everywhere that I've been putting together and just want to be able to keep going and try different colors out. So now I'm going to squish this down in the middle. Just hold that for a second. I'm going to put gold in the middle. That. Got my little Sharpie tool. Some of these things out of the way. Yeah, all my paper and my petals and everything just sits in the windowsill. Just a little stack of all these different jars and vases. Okay. So then what I like to do is just kind of fold up all the petals just to give it that kind of fluffier look. Let every petal show. Every color is special. Every petal is special. So we just bring this up. Now this one you'll notice is mostly that pretty poppy paper. But on here, oh my gosh, I've got everything from Share What You Love to some daisies, the Migos flower. I've got everything on here. So I made this box the other week. You may remember when we made this box, there's one like it. And originally I thought I was going to put this bow on top of it, but I don't think it actually has enough contrast. I feel like the paper gets kind of lost because it's very monochrome, as pretty as the paper is. So I'm probably going to end up using this funky bow here. I just think it's so much prettier with the blue that it will offset everything. So that's going to go on here, and all I will do is put a little bit of glue, maybe some glue dots on here, and then I'll just squish it down and hold it, and that should hold really nicely. Okay. So for here, this one is almost done. We just keep folding it up. And I think I'm gonna put the big one. I think that's just really so special with all that red. So pull this off. Okay. And then I'm just gonna get this centered before I squish. And then I hold it down. Super pretty. Isn't that just gorgeous? So I just love it. I just think it's really fun, easy, it's fast, and it uses up, again, the goal here is not to waste any paper. So pieces that you have, scraps that are just too small to use on a card or to use on their own, or if it's a paper that, yeah, it's pretty, but it really doesn't jive with your style of how you like to make cards, this is such a great project because it can just be an accent, it can be a hint in the background. So anyways, hope you liked this week's projects. I'm actually going to be on vacation. I'm going camping, so I won't be around for a couple of weeks, but let me show you what I'm working on for the next video. So this winter, I started making my own journals. And I was using just old manila envelopes and regular envelopes from the mail. So this is an example of one of the ones we're gonna make. Look how pretty this is. Isn't that amazing? So these are all pockets in here. We're gonna talk about how to make pockets, how to, I've got my own stamped and tea-dyed paper in here. So I didn't use a lot of Stampin' Up projects on this one, but we will going forward. Let's see, here's another one that's just a sample of what you can put inside, making a big envelope. And let's see what we got here. Here's another one that's got more pockets, lots of beautiful DSP on here. More, and again, I was just using envelopes to make this. And here's some of my tea-dyed paper. I'll show you how to use it, make that. That's super easy. And this is the foundation for the journal that I'm working on right now. So this will be the background, the back of it, I should say. And then it's gonna open up like this. Can you see how that's gonna work? I'm gonna do like this. And it'll come together like that. Oh my gosh, that's gonna be so much fun. So more to come. In a couple weeks, I'll be talking about how to do some homemade journals. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and look forward to talking with you soon. Thanks guys, have a great weekend, bye.